really need a haircut. Hey guys, Nikib here, welcome back to the channel. In this week's video, it's going to be pretty short, but I got one serious tip for you guys that's really going to help you guys stay productive. So, next week's video is actually also going to be pretty short. I got some stuff planned for the next couple weeks, but next week's video is going to be a little different. I actually got Azizel from a couple weeks back to do a skit with me. So, we'll have some fun with that next week, so stay tuned for that. But in this week's video, so this topic of staying productive is really interesting to me because before I really knew the tips and tricks on certain things that really kept you going as a person and really motivated you, I really wouldn't get a whole lot done. So I know there's a whole lot of stuff you can really do. There's a whole lot of tips and tricks, but I'm going to let you guys know one particular thing and like a little bonus thing at the end that really helped me out. Let me go back all the way to when I used to work at Sears a couple years ago. So there used to be this one person named Jordan. She was a law student, and I have to say that she was probably one of the smartest people I've ever met. Back in the day, I used to ask her because she was just she was brilliant, you know? Absolutely brilliant. So I was like, you know what, how are you doing law school? You're working full time and you're doing all this crap. How are you doing it? And still acing your classes. It's like you don't even try and you're still making amazing grades. So there's one thing she told me, and that is always keep yourself busy. If you're keeping yourself busy, you're automatically gonna be, you know, productive. That's just how it goes. You know, it's like a snowball effect. And to add on to that, she always said that if you're doing school, no matter how tough it might seem, as long as you can handle it, always try to have at least a part-time job with your school. So because of the fact that you do have that part-time job, once again, that snowball effect kind of takes place where as soon as you get off of school, you know you have something next and you can't really step out of that. You have to do it. So you get off of school, you have like an hour in between, you finish up your homework right then, you go to work, you come back, you finish up whatever homework you have left after that, you do what you got to do the rest of the day, and then you go to bed. So you see how that kind of trickles down onto each other. You're kind of forced to do it. So that force, at that point, you're not thinking like, you know, I have to do it. You don't have a choice. When you don't have a choice, you stay productive. So that goes for like a day you have work, you have school, a whole bunch of stuff, you know. Keep yourself busy. But let's just say it's your day off and you have a bunch of stuff you guys really gotta do, but you just can't motivate yourself to do it. How do you stay productive then? So here's what I personally do. If there's a whole bunch of big tasks and a bunch of little tasks in between, instead of, you know, people usually try to cram all the big tasks into their one first day off, and then by the end of the day they feel like they really didn't accomplish much. They might have actually gotten one or two tasks done, but that's not really a whole lot. When you go to your checklist to make sure you're actually getting your stuff done, it looks like you really got hardly anything done. So the way to combat that is do a couple of big tasks throughout the day and then do some smaller tasks in between. For example, if you guys, you know, on your day off or at the beginning of the week, you guys say, hey, you know, for this week I have to wash the car, I have to pressure wash the driveway, drop off packages at the post office, and go grocery shopping, right? So pressure washing the driveway and washing your car, those alone can take the whole day. So instead of doing both of those in one day, and at the end of the day feeling you barely did anything, go ahead and pressure wash your driveway the first day, right? And then knock out the post office and the groceries that first day. So instead of doing just one task that whole day, you did 3. And it actually feels like you did something, right? You finished one item, you went to go do the other, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And then your next day, you go ahead, and by that time you might need to go grocery shopping again. You go ahead and go grocery shopping, and then you wash your car. So, you know, the key is budgeting your time. It does take some time at the beginning of every week, and this kind of leads me on to the point of something I said a couple videos ago, that I do want to make an organizational tips video, and that's probably going to help some of you guys out, because for me, for the longest time, I was just super disorganized, and what really helped me out is a couple different items. And one big item is having a whiteboard, a big old whiteboard that's just plastered right in front of where I look every single day. It's right above my computer, so no matter what I do, you know, if I'm in my room, I'm gonna see that whiteboard and any sticky notes I have attached to it. So that's just one little tip. So I know overall what I just said doesn't really seem like a whole lot. It probably seems pretty obvious, but I kid you not, I thought so too when Jordan told me that. And when I started really implementing this into my life, you know, get your homework done, you know, get smaller tasks done in between these bigger tasks, it just helped me out so much, guys, especially during the summer months. I get it, in the winter winter months, you're kind of dormant. It's kind of like a human hibernation type of phase where you really don't feel like doing anything. The days are super short, but in the summer, the days are super long. You can get so much work done. Like, for example, I work at Home Depot, right? So, you know what? Actually, let me hold off on that example. Let me go ahead and add in the next topic that I really want to talk about, which is caffeine. So with caffeine, yeah, I'm sure most of you guys drink coffee. A lot of you guys probably even drink energy drinks. I used to drink a whole lot of energy drinks. So here's the thing to keep in mind with caffeine, right? The fact that I work at Home Depot, if I don't have like an energy drink or coffee at the beginning of my shift, by the end of my shift, I'm probably gonna want to go home. Like I might even stop midway through my shift because I work in the garden department and there's a lot of heavy lifting and stuff like that, and I just don't have the energy for that without some caffeine. So let's compare a Monster Energy, which on average is 175 milligrams of caffeine, versus an average cup of coffee. I know different cups of coffee, you know, have different varieties of caffeine in them, but an average cup of coffee, according to Google, is 95 milligrams of caffeine. So the more caffeine you take, the bigger that caffeine crash is going to be at the end of your day. So I actually noticed this personally, right? So if I go to work at 1:30 and I'm working till 10, but before that I have a bunch of errands to run. I wake up, I have some breakfast, and I have an energy drink. That's 175 milligrams of caffeine. Sometimes I would even have 2. And that's over, 300 milligrams of caffeine. And I would definitely get some work done the first few hours, right? I would get all this stuff done. I'd feel good about myself. And then that crash would take place. And man, it's just that crash right there, right before I'm going to work, it would not help out. Oftentimes I just wouldn't even feel like working anymore. I would just come home. So compare that to the days I actually had just a cup of coffee, less than 100 milligrams of caffeine. It's just that little boost you kind of needed to go get your day started, and it just trickles down. Once again, it's all about trickling down. You do one thing, another good thing happens, as long as you're doing them right, in the right order. So with a cup of coffee, that crash wasn't nearly as bad, and by the time work rolled around, I wouldn't be worn out, I'd be just fine. So yeah, there we go, guys. That first tip right there was, get your bigger tasks done, but scatter some smaller tasks in between them so it actually mentally feels like you guys are getting some stuff done. And second off, use caffeine to your advantage. Don't take too much, because the bigger the caffeine amount that you consume, the bigger the crash is going to be. So once again, I said this was going to be a pretty short video. Hopefully you guys get something useful out of this. Next week's video, once again, will be that skit, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.